Okay, I hope you've had fun and welcome back to the special Concorde live stream today. It's a themed Concorde mission today. We are going to be taking Michael Jackson on this lovely British Airways Concorde from London Heathrow to Paris. So I hope you're going to enjoy the stream. Today is the 25th of June, where we remember the King of Pop, and I thought what better than to do a stream in Concorde. I'm going to perform my flows today very ineptly and smoothly, okay? Smooth criminal flows. So whether you are interested in learning how to fly the Collimator Concorde for X-Plane 12 or the DC Designs Concorde for Microsoft Flight Simulator, this guide is for you, because this add-on, the FSLabs Concorde, is the most detailed Concorde there is. So if you know this, there's nothing to stop you from learning the other ones. Okay, so let's get started. I've already loaded in my takeoff performance, bugged my instruments, started the fuel. So we're going to do some smooth criminal flows right now and get ourselves started. Of course, we're going to go supersonic, so that's always a good treat. And yeah, any questions, just don't be afraid to ask. And yeah, let's get going. Just welcoming everyone to the chat, and yeah. Okay, so let's start. We've got our ground power connected. Split circuit breaker is closed. Let's get the galley power on. And let's request for ground air, like so. Coming over here, we're gonna check our equipment cooling. Is all checked. And yeah, let's get some ground air. So, gonna shut the engine bleeds. They're meant to be off for engine start. I'm gonna open cross bleeds number 2 and number 3. And air conditioning is on, so that's all good. I've already started the alignment, the INS is already set, and the ready nav lights are on. I'm just going to put the ramp spill masters to manual for the time being to prevent spontaneous movement on the ground. And yep, that's all pretty much good. Batteries are off, they shouldn't be on for the time being. Let's get the air data computers on as well, and let's test them. And you can hear the stall warning and the stick shaker in the background. The stall warning and the overspeed. And that's the good test. Now we're going to test system number 2. Okay. Now let us begin. So I'm going to... Let's cancel the master warning. It's a little bit loud. Come over here. Let's get the nav lights on. Let's get the roof lights on as well. The flight engineers checks often start with the overhead panel. Okay, so ADS probe heaters should be set to total temperature inhibit when on the ground. Standby system, I'm going to turn on. Pressure static heaters, they should be off. Roof light should be on. Cockpit door, let's lock that. Emergency evacuation is tested. I'm putting the no smoking lights on, and refueling is complete, I believe. So I'm going to turn on the fasten seatbelt signs, like so. Come over here, drain masters, they should be off. Throttle masters should be set to main or alternate. Auto ignition should be off. Auto throttle overhead control switches should be on. Engine rating mode should be set to takeoff, and engine flight rating should be set to climb. Come over here to the servo control panel. I'm just going to do my checks very quickly. Yep, that's a good test. Yeah, so that's all well and checked. HP flow valve switches should be off. Engine anti-icing, wing anti-icing, that's all off. Just testing the relay jack is set to normal. Testing the blue and green jam. Forward fuel transfer switch is guarded and locked. It's also custom to... Hello everyone, welcome to the chat. It's also custom to set auto stab 1 switch on, and notice it engages. Also, that can only be done if your air data computers are on. Welcome everyone to the chat, and I like your list. Airliners X, you've got Beat It, Human Nature, Smooth Criminal, Thriller, Billie Jean, Bad. Yeah, those are solid performances. Have you managed to rent out the Michael movie yet? Let me know in the chat. Okay, anti-stall systems are on. Anti-stall systems are here. Flight control inverters, they're now on. And master warning, let's do a check. Lights test, all looks good. Coming over here to the glare shield, we're going to do a Crompton departure. So 113.60 is the Crompton VOR. On the right hand side, I'm going to set 114.35. Like so. Sorry, the London VOR is 113.60. The Crompton VOR is 114.35. My altitude I'm going to set as 26,000 feet for the time being. We're not stopping at 6,000 feet. And my speed I'm going to set in my zero rate of climb speed, which is 167 knots. Like so. And intercepting the 258 radial out of London, and then we'll turn to heading of 271, follow the Woodley NDB, and shortly thereafter, once we've crossed that, we'll go to Crompton 282 radial. So let's set that up like so. That's the glare shield checked out. Let's do the auto throttle test. Since the alignment's done, set auto throttle 1 on. Notice IS hold illuminates and the throttles advance. Similarly, select auto throttle 2 on. Nothing more should happen. And then I'm going to disconnect them like so. Coming over here, let's do our warning and landing light display test. You should hear the oral tone. Good evening, Phil. How are you doing? Yes, I love that part in the movie. How would you like to do it? And he says quickly. That was, I think, like the most savviest part in the movie. I like the other part as well in the movie. You know, he says this is our final tour. That was amazing. So we've tested our GPWS. Let's do our ADI test. Of course, don't ever do this test before alignment is completed. That can damage the ADI. Coming over here, doing our HSI test and our radio altimeter test. Just going to set barometric by pressing the B key. I'm going to gauge the standby altimeter, test our markers like so. Brake pressure is all checked. Takeoff monitor, arm light is checked. This add-on actually doesn't allow me to reduce the fuel flow bugs and P7 to 0, because if I could do that, pressing this would cause the takeoff lights to illuminate as well. So that would be a good check if it was modeled. Reheat placard should be set to 4. I've already bugged my instruments beforehand. Clock and TLA is set to 45 seconds. Let's do a nose wheel steering check and reset, and anti-skid is checked. The gear override switch is guarded. Coming over here to the flight position indicator, do alarm test and reset. And yeah, we can check the first officer's side if you wanted to, but already done that. How's your day been? Oh dear. Yeah, the heat is so bad here. I've got my fan on and it's supposed to be like 40 degrees. I'm very sorry to hear that, Phil. I hope that you're feeling better now. Just adding my condolence in the chat. Coming over here, TCAS is set to standby, and the TCAS test actually doesn't work for some reason. Let's do an ADF test, already set to 352 Woodley, and we can do a gear horn test, instrument light test as well. The views are a little bit tricky here, so I'm going to give that a miss. And yeah, I'm happy with the pedestal. I just want to quickly enter in my waypoints while I'm here. So let's go to the INS. Just going to check our present position very quickly. All three of them. Like so. And I'm going to turn on the remote so I can quickly sync my data entries. Like so. And yeah, let's do this. So coming over here, waypoint number 1 has to be Woodley, so north 51272, 51272, insert, west 527, insert. Okay, waypoint number 2 is, I'm not going to say their names, a bit strange, but north 50421, insert, and west 151. The interesting thing about the CDU is that you don't have to type in the preceding zeros, okay? If there's a 0 in between, you have to type them, but not the preceding ones, which is quite handy. Unlike on the INI-builds L1011, where you have to type in the preceding zeros as well, which is a bit strange. So just entering my next waypoint, and now it's east, not west. 1005. Insert. I always like to say insert because you have to insert each coordinate. It's a habit I've done, and it works for me. And the next waypoint is north 49180. Insert. And east 1342. Insert. Okay, that's all good, and I'm going to take off the remote now. We don't need it anymore. We've checked our loading, so I'm going to come over here to the mode select units, nav on 1, 2, and 3. The ready nav lights are out, and the INS lights are out over here. The loading is checked, nav mode mix. And yeah. Here, just reading the comments in the chat. It is indeed very hot. Okay, so got a question in the chat about the nav radios, and it's quite long, so I'm going to just I hope I've understood this correctly, and if I haven't, just let me know. So we're tracking the outboard, the 258 radial from London 113.60. Instead of going 114.35, changing my course when I'm ready, all I do as a little shortcut is my instrument transfer switch. So if you select this one, you automatically switch to the first officer's side. So you're pulling his VOR data and it's showing over here. So that's pretty handy, you know, instead of having to type in 114.35 and 282. I just do the instrument transfer switch. Of course, be sure to return this back to your side once you're done. Okay. So coming over here, let us start. I'm going to enter in my cabin altitude. On both sides, it's an identical pressurization system, same like the Airbus A300. They copied a lot of this. System is all good. Not going to go into the specifics too much. Let's do a lights test for the first part. Brake fans are off, brake overload light is out. Let's do a brake temperature check. And yeah, fuel heaters auto, engine suck valves shut, secondary air doors auto, shut and lights off. Engine control schedule should be set to flyover, and takeoff monitor sorry, engine 4 takeoff N1 limiter should be set to 88%. As you know, engine number 4 suffers from the vortex shed by the wing, and that can cause issues, okay? I'm just going to set my ramp spill masters back to auto now. Close the guards. Generally, you set them to manual, okay, for the most parts of the ground, because it prevents spontaneous movements. Air intake lane channel, just set it to auto A or auto B. And yep, coming over here, our fuel vent test, you press the test button and it should go from full to discharge, the mode indicator, but doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, we can check the inverters that power the ram air turbine. Concorde does have a ram air turbine, which is real nice. And door lights, tested and off. And secondary air instruments are looking good, no flags, and temperatures look reasonable. And yeah, okay, coming over here, our cockpit and cabin temperature controls. We're not going to do too much of that. Actually, I do. I want to make it a little bit cool for Michael Jackson, who's in the cabin, and he's rented out half the aircraft just now. And yeah, no problem at all, Max West. I'm glad that helped. Okay, coming over here to the jettison panel, it's covered up. The reason we cover it up is because upon applying electrical power, we don't want spontaneous fuel being, I think it's ejected or something. There's something about that in the manual. Okay, fuel management, the intakes to tank 11, I'm going to set to auto. The overrides should be off. The overrides are set to off because they override the auto selection. You saw if I turn this on, it overrides my main selection. Okay, pumps for tank 9 set to auto. Standby inlets are shut. Trim pipe drain is shut. Interconnect valves between tanks 7A and 7, 5A and 5 are shut. That's all good. Pumps for tank 10 I'm going to set to auto. We don't actually have much in them at the moment. Pumps for tanks 5A and 7A are set to off for the time being. And yeah, aft trim, that should be set to norm. Inlets for tanks 5 and 7 should be set to shut for the time being. The override should be set to off. Interconnect valves between 6 and 7, 5 and 8 should be shut. Those are for backup only. I'll show you later how to do lateral fuel transfer. You need to do it through tank 11, okay? Pumps for tanks 5, 6, 7, and 8 are off. They don't have fuel in them anyway. Inlets for tank 11, same config for tank 9. The electrically driven pumps for tank 11, the hydraulically driven, the blue and green, should be on, set to auto. And we also have the electrically driven pump option as well. Okay, coming over here, cross feed should be shut, cross line. And yeah, let's do a fuel use test, like so. Just going to test the leak master warnings as well. And yeah, kind of happy with the setup. I'm not going to adjust the fuel the main aircraft weight. This is really tedious, and I could be there for over 5 minutes trying to do just that. Okay, hydraulic management. I'm going to check the overheats and the levels. Hydraulic quantity is green band, and hydraulic temperatures are checked. Hydraulic pumps for the yellow system are set to normal. If you were to shut this off, you'd basically offload the yellow pumps. Ground power is connected, split circuit breakers closed, engine gens are on. Coming over here, emergency generator set to ground bypass. This allows the emergency gen to come online and supply the essential bus during certain electrical failure conditions. And transformer rectifier units all good. The galley power's on. And we can check our ground power over here if we wanted to. Come over here, we can do our fire tests as well. So let's do that now. I think there we go. Notice the fire handles, they are illuminated. That's engine number 1, number 2, 3 and 4. Okay, I'm just gonna cancel this warning now. There we go. Okay, so this is the flight engineer's panel pretty much done. I'm kind of happy with that, and I'm ready to go. Yeah, he just cannot stop leaning on the seat, cannot stop moonwalking, and yeah, he used to rent out over half the aircraft, and it was really cool. I think this was like pretty much his private jet, and yeah. So before start checks, I'm going to bring the batteries online now. I'm going to turn on my main boost pumps, like so. There we go. Notice the low pressure lights are out. And yeah, now we're going to do engine idle switches, should be set to high. And yeah, let's get configured for start. And we've already done our door light test, all that good stuff. And just seeing if there's anything else I need to do. No, I think that's pretty much it. And yeah, let's get the anti-collision lights on as well. Let's get the... We've already got the no smoking, fasten seatbelt signs. Okay, we're ready. I'm going to start engine number 3. We start the inboard engines first, and then we progress outwards, okay? Okay, so starting number 3. No, you're not pestering me at all, Airliners X. I do have the chat open on another screen, so that's fine. Yep, 13% N2. I'm opening the HP flow valve. And we're not doing a debow start today, so I'm going to debow switch back to normal. You can run it in debow condition if you want for 1 minute. That allows the temperature and all that to even out. But in the interest of time, we're starting up. Okay? And we're ready to hear the GPWS. There we go. Engine number 3 gen has come online. Oh yeah, I should have actually turned on the auxiliary compressor. Anyway, my bad. Engine 3 gen is on. I'm going to bring the hydraulics online now, the blue and green system. There we go. Notice the droop has gone. And let's start engine number 2 now. So, engine number 2. Spooling up. How are you doing, Andrew Plains? You just come in time. Ready for engine start. We're just waiting for 13% N2. Then I'm going to open the fuel flow valve. There we go. Number 2. Debow switch back to normal. Notice the ignition lights are out. Now we're just spooling up. Okay, engines number 3 and number 2 are running, so let's get prepared for the pushback. Okay, so brake fans, they need to be on. Engine idle switches, I'm going to set them back to low. And yeah, now we need to configure our cross bleeds. We're going to open the engine bleed valves, like so. We shouldn't have to open the number 3 and number 4 cross bleed. This should be enough for cross bleed start. And I'm going to bring the visor down. Let's release the parking brake as well. There we go. Actually, let's do a quick brake check. Set to emergency and to normal. Just noticing the brake pressures. And now push back. Okay, while we push back, I'm gonna start engine number 4. Let's also do the flight control checks and cancel the mechanical jam, put electric trim 2 and 1 on. Let's set our trim to 1.5 for takeoff, like so. Okay, 13% N2, number 4. Actually, hold on. I think this add-on has a bug, so you do need to turn on the other cross blades as well. Oh yeah, and you need to turn the air conditioning off. That's the reason why. There we go. Starting to spool up now. And we're in the mechanical channel. Let's reset them. Let's do our flight control check. Hang on, 13%. Engine number 4. Ooh, nearly got pushed back into the grass there. Stop. Parking brakes set to park. And yeah, let's start engine number 1 as well. Okay, flight control check. Pull back. Hello, airplane guy. Glad you were able to make it. Full left, travel neutral, right. The mechanical channel is not as responsive. Okay, 13% N2, starting number 1. Okay, let's go to the green channel. This is going to be much more responsive now. There we go. Hang on a sec. There we go. Now the engine can accelerate to idle. And the blue channel finally. Let's show you a nice outside view. Yeah, kind of pushed back a bit too far, so apologies about that. Full down, left, right. I don't know why my rudder's swinging a little bit. My yoke's a bit out. Okay, all 4 engines, they're running. I'm going to turn the pressure static heaters on. The drain masters, I'm going to turn on as well. And auto ignition, I'm going to set that on to prevent any unwanted rollbacks. And yeah, all our engines are running. Okay, let's configure the air bleed control panel. So air conditioning back on, cross bleed should be shut. And yeah, coming over here, configuring the boost pumps. All engine boost pumps, they need to be on now. These are the main boost pumps. And yeah, we need to start our aft transfer back. Okay, so let's do that now. The mode indicators, there we go. Notice the inlet's open. Fuel is going back into tank 11 and we're aiming for 53% CG. Coming over here to the electrics panel, just checking our gens. Yep, all good. 115 volts, 400 hertz. Hydraulic pressure is checked. Everything looks good. Okay, let's get moving. So, need to release our brakes. And yeah, let's start. Oh yeah, we need to remove our chocks. That's why we're not moving. There we go. Okay, so taxi checks, nose 5. And nose wheel steering is reset. Anti-skid has been checked again. And yeah, let's get moving. Right. Taxi turn lights, they're gonna go on now. Of course, yeah, auto stab 1, auto stab 2, these all need to be engaged now. Artificial field 1, artificial field 2, and we can do, as we're taxing, our autopilot engagement check. Okay, autopilot engagement check. Autopilot 1, set it to on. Notice heading hold and pitch hold illuminates, and notice the travel of the yoke. Okay, let's check autopilot 2. Yep, all good. You do need to do your autopilot checks on the ground, and if you've done all the auto stab and artificial feel and, you know, the blue channel which I was talking about earlier, you'll be good. If not, your autopilot might not engage in the air. Okay, so coming over here, we're already 53. I'm gonna stop the transfer now. We've kind of gone a little bit above what I was aiming for, so give me a second. I'm going to have to transfer fuel back up, so I'm going to reduce my load limit for tank 11 to 0, and I'm going to increase my load limit for tank number 9, and I'm going to boost it forwards. Yeah, Michael's a bit upset with that we're wasting his time. He wants to get supersonic as fast as possible. Okay, so we're just taxing along. CFG should be going forwards now. We're going to take off from runway 27 left. And Concorde is really cool that you can taxi on idle. We're already going a little fast. Just slow down a bit. And hang on, the fuel is not going forwards yet. Need to... Let me see, what am I doing wrong? Oh yeah, this needs to be... The load limit needs to be above the sum of tanks 9 and 10. Only then fuel is going to be transferring forwards. Okay, so just give me a second. It's a 9,200 plus... There we go, we've gone above the total quantity of 9 and 10. Now we're going to move forward, okay? The inlets have automatically opened. There we go, 53.1. And just waiting for 53. Because I don't want to tilt backwards on takeoff, okay? So that's the issue. Just waiting. There we go, 53. Stopping the transfer. And now I'm going to reduce the load limit back to 0 for tanks 9, and now I'm going to set my load limit for tank 11 to 10,500. Okay then, thank you Airliners X, have a good night. Yeah, I know Manflex runway 9 is active, but I kind of have my heart set on doing a Crompton departure of 27 left. It's kind of the one I'm used to. And yeah. Okay, now we need the D-airs on for tanks 9. Sorry, tanks 11. Low pressure fuel protection needs to be armed. And yeah, we don't have any fuel in the other pumps. So otherwise I'll turn on the right hand side pumps for tanks 6 and 8, which also act as de-aeration. Pumps for tanks 5A and 7A, they're coming on now. And yeah. Okay, let's continue moving. A little bit of a hold up there. We can also use the INS to track ground speed. Like so. Go to ground speed. Just you can raise the N2 to about 86%, then go back to idle. Just really enjoying the view out there. Dear, my nose wheel steering is... It's okay, actually. Okay, let's do a master warning check. So recall, there's nothing there, so I'm going to set that to inhibit for takeoff, just so that it doesn't distract us, you know. That's the way we do things. I'm going to skip the reverse air shut-off test because I just want to concentrate on taxiing and not moving back and forth. Actually, let's go for it. I'm a bit of a perfectionist here. Okay, so setting the rotary selectors to E and doing the test. Okay, whoa, we're going quite fast. Reverse air shut-off test, mid-travel forward, N2 should not increase by more than 6%. Idle reverse. Hang on a sec. There we go, idle reverse and cancel. Okay, so before takeoff checks, I'm going to arm the takeoff monitor. Reheat select for white is armed. I'm going to put the transponder to TARA, like so. Weather radar I'm going to keep off because it drastically impacts my frame rates. Okay, so we're getting ready for the takeoff now. Just going to turn onto the runway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a rolling takeoff. I'm not going to stop because I've noticed on this add-on that when you start from sudden like stopped, it wants to tilt you backwards even though the CFG is all correct. So I'm just going to give that a miss. Please excuse my steering. It's always best to line up a little bit to the left of the runway as well. Okay, alerting the stewardess 3 times. Okay, so we're ready now for the takeoff. Gonna go time elapsed. 3, 2, 1, Jacksons. This profile is a speed demon profile. Oh no, it's still tilting up a bit because we're really lightly loaded. So 60 knots, airspeed building. 100 knots now, V1. Rotate. V2. Positive rate gear up. 240 knots. 3, 2, 1, noise. Cut the reheats out. There we go. gonna throttle back a little bit. Gonna pause the checklist. There we go, reheats have been cut out. We're gonna pitch down now to maintain 250 knots. I had to cut off the checklist because the auto flight engineer, he tends to come in, which is a bit annoying. I want to do this myself. Okay, so after takeoff checks, landing gear up, lights off, neutral, master warning, recalled, and yeah, let's start turning towards the 258 radial. Gonna set hang on, climb thrust, engine rating should go to flight. There we go. Just tracking the 258 radial and just yeah. Just want to stop this the checklist. Don't want these guys to be interfering, so pause checklist and we'll keep it at that. Okay, we're going above 250 knots. Whoops. Just gonna pitch for speed. I'm gonna raise the nose and visor now. You should always raise them by about 270 knots. Okay, let's go direct to Crompton now. And we're just gonna start tracking our speed. So at 390 knots we're going to go IS holds. Let's go autopilot 1 now. Let's follow the VOR 114.35, and yeah, hold on, setting my instrument transfer switch back. There we go, VOR lock, IS hold. Just gonna ease back a little bit on the throttles. There we go. Altitude acquire, let's arm that. Let's arm the auto throttles as well. Let me just go pitch hold slightly. We're so close to the VMO bug, it's triggering an overspeed, so let me just... There we go. Let's go IS hold. There we go. That's all good now. When you say noise, Manflex, you cut off the reheats. Let's also go INS. Let's follow the INS route now. Let's get the flight director on. There we go. And yeah, let's start transferring our fuel backwards. There we go. Let's also get the taxi turn lights off. And let's get the fasten seatbelt sign off now as well. And ADS probe heats, they need to go on. Yeah, we're all doing good. Yeah, Phil, we were slightly overspeeding. Normally at 390 knots you go IS hold and you start climbing, but we were so close to the speed bug over here that it was triggering off the overspeed. So I reverted back to pitch hold, and then once the speed settled down, then back to IAS hold. If that makes sense. I mean, definitely does. So now, altitude acquire is taken precedence. The auto throttles have taken over as well. That's why we pre-arm the auto throttles. So say you're in IAS hold and you're climbing at a set speed and set thrust, and you want to level off at say 26,000 feet, you can pre-arm the auto throttles so that when you level off, they start pulling back and maintaining your speed. Notice that how close we are to the speed of sound already. Notice the fuel transfer is going aft, and we're aiming for about 55% for the subsonic leg. And yeah, secondary air doors are open. Let's set the engine control schedule back to normal. I'm going to turn the brake fans off now. Pressurization is looking good. Okay, so let us, we're coming up over the sea now, so very shortly I'm gonna go supersonic. We're getting ready. Just monitoring the CFG, 55%. I'm going to stop it there. Okay, so transonic checklist would include outer memory. I'm doing this. Auxiliary inlets are shut, and fuel is set for transfer. And what was the other checklist? Oh yeah, anti-icing is off, wing anti-icing, engine anti-icing is off. And secondary air doors, they're open, set to auto, and they're less than 15 degrees. And that's the transonic checklist complete. Okay, so we're going over the sea now, so I'm going to start preparing for Mach 2. So I'm going to dial in 60,000 feet into the AFCS, like so. I'm going to go pitch hold. We need to disconnect the auto throttles naturally. And yeah, let's start climbing up. So I'm going to slowly pitch up to about 10 degrees. I'm going to give it my full power and engage the reheats in pairs. I'm just going to keep pitching up so we don't overspeed. It's a very tricky thing to do. There we go. Mach 0.98. Also, we need to do our time on the reheats. I'm going to start the chrono. Mach 0.99. Come on, it's a little bit. There we go. The vertical speed indicator is fluctuating. We know now we are past Mach 1 supersonic. And yeah, we need to keep our fuel transfer going aft. There we go. I'm going to go max climb now. And I'm going to engage altitude acquire. Okay, we're officially supersonic. So we've just been, what, 12 minutes in the air? And yeah. We're doing this. We're supersonic. CFG is looking good. Oops. I do need to turn off the D-Air for tank 11 when I'm doing this transfer. There we go, Mach 1.3. We should notice the intake ramps should move from about 10% to 20%. I think they've already done so. Okay, Mach 1 checks. Pressure static heaters, they need to be off. Transparency, de-ice and de-mist, they also need to be off. Just monitoring the CFG, we're looking good. And just checking out our fuel. We are tanks 10 pumps, they're showing low pressure, so I'm going to turn them off. And we're coming up on Mach 1.7 now, so once we do so, I'm going to do my Mach 1.7 checks. There we go, Mach 1.7. I'm cutting off the reheats now. There we go, time on the reheats, 3 minutes and 54 seconds, that's good. Maximum is 15 minutes. Mach 1.7 checks. Autopilot 1 engaged. Flight Director 1 engaged. And Auto Throttle 1 engaged. Mach 1.7 checks are complete. Basically, with the auto throttle 1, we need to engage that for overspeed protection. Okay, we're at 50,000 feet. Engine flight rating should be set to cruise now. Notice that max climb and max cruise illuminate together, and the Mach hold light is partially illuminated, so this is a good check. Coming up on CFG of 59% very shortly. We've already reached 10,500. Also, the DS can go off now. We're above Mach 1.7. Just look at that ground speed, 1170. Not so really quite cool. We've only been, what, 20 minutes in the air, and we're already at 50,000 feet. Okay, so I'm just reducing the load limit now for tank 11 back to 0 because we've already reached 10,500 kilograms. And fuel currently is boosting into tanks 5 and 7. Just waiting for CFG of 59%. And let's turn on tanks 5 and 7. Replenish tanks 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go, 59%. I'm stopping it now. And I'm going to do aft trim. So I'm going to open up the interconnects between tanks 5A and 5, 7A and 7. I'm going to go aft trim. So what this is that fuel from tanks 5A and 7A go into tanks 5 and 7 respectively, and to compensate for that CFG going forwards, tanks 1 and 4 start to drain out and they go into tanks 5 and 7 to compensate. Okay, there we are, Mach 2.02. The flight control, the auto throttle system takes us up to Mach 2.02 and then will take us back down to Mach 2. Okay, so just monitoring the fuel transfer. Okay, tanks 5 and 7 are draining out. Still doing off trim, so just wait for that transfer to be complete, and then I'll start doing lateral transferring. Yeah, that is P3D. So P3D basically has the FSLabs Concorde, which in my opinion is the best Concorde there is. Yeah, it does actually look quite nice. I've applied some shader fixes and I downloaded reshades. I'm using a preset and I kind of like it. Plus at 60,000 feet, there's not going to be much difference regardless of what sim you're using. That is interesting. I've never actually used X-Plane 10 at all. Okay, so I didn't realize you've already gone so fast, and I think I've already come to the end of my waypoints, actually. Already overshot it, so gonna have to turn back. Make our way back to Paris. So let me see if I can do that. Okay, so just checking out the fuel management. I'm just going to boost bill of fuel that is left in tank 9 into 5 and 7. A little bit unconventional, but it just shows you there's more than one way of doing things in Concorde. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. No, the flight is not done, Air Holland. We're just getting started. Check this out. Time elapsed 35 minutes, and we're already supersonic. We're at Mach 2 and nearly at 60,000 feet. Yeah, the same over here. It's so hot, and just 35 degrees or something. Okay, so tanks 5A and 7A, sorry, have drained out, so I'm shutting them down and shutting off the connection between 5A and 5, 7A and 7. Let's turn on the boost pumps for tanks 5 and 7, keep our engine feed pumps nice and topped up. And yeah, I've kind of drained out all the fuel from tanks 9, so I'm going to shut them down. Keep them back to auto. And yeah, let's do a bit of lateral transfer. So you got about 11,600, 16. Actually, there's not too much a difference. There's a little bit more in tank 5, but not by much. I mean, in theory, I could transfer a bit from 3 to 2. So to do that, you need to open the jettison panel for number 3. We're going to boost fuel from tank 3 into tank 11. So I'm going to override the intake, open it up, and boost fuel out of tank 11 into tank number 2. So now we can see fuel is actually going to start rising. Actually, let me shut these down so you can visualize this better. There we go. And I'm going to stop that now. Return it back to auto. So right now, we've kind of leveled them out. The difference is not too much. If I wanted to boost fuel out of tank 1 into tank 4, so I can open up tank 1 jettison, route it through tank 11, so open up the inlet to tank 11, boost it out of tank 11, and open the standby inlet for tank number 4. So just waiting for those two to settle down. There we go, nicely balanced. So we're going to close that up. I mean, the difference is marginal, but just wanted to demonstrate that. We've also aimed for CFG of 59%. That's the optimum in cruise. Okay, so I'm going to set my load limit for tank 9 and 10 to about 8,000. That's kind of prescribed item. But I don't know, actually. We might have to end up boosting them into the engine feed tanks instead. So I'll just... I'll leave it at 0 for now. I think at some point we need to descend because all the fuel we have is now in tanks 10 and 11 and the engine feed tanks. So once these run dry, you're technically limited by how long you can stay supersonic before you have to start transferring fuel back forwards, back into the engine feed tanks. So there's a limitation. So say if these are going real low and you have to be at 59 around thereabouts CFG in order to sustain Mach 2. So unfortunately you can't because you have to move it back forward. So your supersonic time is kind of limited by that. Oh, okay, that's an interesting fact. Air Holland, I didn't realize that the Fokker company was that old. Okay, so I think it's time for me to descend. So, yeah, let's start preparing for that. Okay, so let's start the descent. I'm going to disconnect the auto throttles now. I'm going to open the engine recirc valves. And yeah, I'm going to select first altitude hold. And we're going to slowly pull back now to a throttle angle of TLA 32 degrees, I think. So, hang on. I think it's that. And also topper descent checks. We need to do a warning landing lights and display test. Yeah, I'll definitely check out the Fokker 100 and I'll do a masterclass on it. I have actually flown the F100 with in an earlier version of Flight Sim 2004, so I have a bit of experience with it and we'll go through the FCOM and make sure that I'm up to speed and then release a solid tutorial for it. Also going to dial our altitude down. Let's say 10,000 feet. Okay, we're coming up on 360 knots. I'm going to press altitude acquire and vertical speed automatically commands an 800 feet per minute descent. And now at 350 knots, I'm going to go IAS hold. There we go. And now there's going to be a marked pitch down tendency. Yep, the C of G, we need to start transferring this forwards now. So just, it's going to start going into tanks 5 and 7. And we'll be boosting back into the engine feed tanks. Okay, I'm just going heading select, and so taking ourselves off the INS route, I'm going to select rad INS switches back to radio. I'm going to track VOR, which I think will give me a good amount of time to line up and get low. Okay, coming up on Mach 1, I'm commanding idle thrust. Okay, Mach 1 checks, transparency, de-ice and demist should go on. Pressure static heaters should also come back on. I'm setting my engine rating mode back to flight. Back to takeoff. Throttle masters are the selection. Let's get the fasten seatbelt signs on as well. And that's okay, Phil. We're just descending now through Mach 1. So I've commanded idle thrust, and now we're descending at a faster rate. Okay, we're aiming for the 55%. Okay, tanks number 10, pumps, they're totally drained out. Okay, I'm going to stop the fuel transfer into tanks 9, and I'm just going to now ensure that tanks 5 and 7 are being filled and are continuously replenishing tanks 1, 2, 3, and 4 so that they don't run dry. I do actually want to show the in-flight reverse, so I'm going to arm the in-flight reverser. We're below Mach 1, so we can do this, and I'm going to show you the in-flight reverse thrust. There we go, in-flight reverse thrust is activated. You can see the reverser buckets. Just gonna arm the auto throttles. Okay, so I'm just flying to a nearby VOR, and we're going to line up now with the airport very shortly. Okay, I'm going to stop the CFG transfer. We're coming up on 10,000 feet now. And the auto throttles have taken over. Okay, I'm going to be landing today at Charles de Gaulle runway 09 left, and just going to enter in the details. But before I do so, I need to set my pressurization to the elevation altitude. Okay, I'm going to keep bringing the CFG forwards. And the altitude is about 340 feet. Okay, we're 250 knots. I'm going to keep descending now to, say, about 4,000 feet. Yeah, I do have to manage the Concorde as if I'm 3 people in one. You see, the rest of the captains have gone over to see Michael Jackson in the cabin. And he's doing the moonwalk right now, which is very interesting. So I've been left alone in the cockpit to manage the situation. Okay, so the details of the ILS is 109.35. And the course is 83. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do an auto land today. So that will really have a smooth criminal landing. I'm also going to arm VOR lock. Also going to keep descending down. It's about 3,000 feet now. And let's slow down to about 200 knots. I'm going to bring the visor down as well. And let's compute the landing data, so performance calculations, landing, and the landing speed today I'm going to choose will be about, let's try 158. Going to also configure for an auto land 3, so I'm going to split the DC and AC electrics like so. Okay, I'm going to start slowing down now. So just waiting for the glide slope. Okay, so I'm just gonna alert the cabin crew. We're ready for landing. Gonna turn the landing lights on now. Okay, I'm gonna go gear down. Okay, I'm gonna press land. Land 2 is armed. I'm gonna turn on the second autopilot as well. And now we have availed of auto land 3. Just waiting for the glide slope intercept. And there we are. Now we're descending. There we go, nicely established. So before landing checks, landing gear down. We've extended our landing lights. Our fuel is looking good. Auxiliary inlets are open. The mode indicators over here. I'm gonna shut down the tanks 5 and 7. Oh, it's still going too far forward, so we're gonna go. That's why the fuel was a bit too far forwards. So nicely descending. I'm just aiming for C of G of 53 degrees. That should be okay. Okay, radio altimeter is active. It should do the auto flare first as well. So just going to monitor that. There we go. Auto flare. There we go, touchdown. I'm disconnecting the autopilots now. Applying full brakes. Reverse thrust. Nose wheel steering is a bit dodgy here. Wants me to go into the grass. Okay, so we're just turning off the runway now. Gonna turn the flight control inverters off now. And I believe we shut down the 2 outboard engines as well. So I'm going to turn the auto ignition off. And this is to aid in the taxi speed of the aircraft. So now I'm just going to find a place to stop. And we'll do a shutdown. I'm going to raise the nose back to nose 5. Okay, so I'm going to turn over here and we're going to stop and do a quick shutdown. Okay, so I'm going to stop here now and applying the parking brake. Let's call for external power and ground air. And we'll just configure the air bleed control panel. And I'm going to shut down the rest of our engines, because now we have ground power connected, and that should take over. Gonna go quickly to the overhead, turn off the anti-collision lights, put the ADS probe heats back to total temperature, inhibit, throttle masters off, auto throttles as well, all off. The auto stab and artificial feel have already cut out, and here the engines have shut down. Looks like ground power is not. There we go. The split circuit breaker had to be closed. Gonna bring the batteries off. Gonna keep our engine feed pumps. Gonna turn them off as well. Like so. I'm going to turn the ramp spill masters back to manual to prevent spontaneous movement on the ground. INS mode selectors, I'm going to turn them off. For proper alignment, they would have to be realigned again by turning them off and then back to align. And yeah, the fuel system is all looking good, and I'm gonna shut down the hydraulics. And yeah, now we're all properly configured for the stopover, and now we're gonna have to open the doors and get Michael Jackson out of his airplane and back on the stage for the tour. Just gonna open the doors for some air. So hope you enjoyed today's flight and the supersonic aspect of it. And yeah, we are definitely going to do more Concorde flights in the days coming. And this was a tribute flight to Michael Jackson, who's no longer with us, but the King of Pop is always remembered for his music and his charity. and so on, and the unique individual that he was. I hope you enjoyed today's stream, and stay tuned for another exciting Concorde video, or probably next time we'll meet in the brand new Fokker 100 aircraft released by Just Flight. Okay, then we'll see you then. Have a good rest of the day and a good week.